Hi everyone, so welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be reviewing two foundations. The first one is the Vanish Seamless Stick from Hourglass, which is the older release, and I believe for a lot of people it's a cult favorite because it's super full coverage and it's really amazing. But today I'll be reviewing the Vanish Liquid, and this is the new launch, and I'll be matching the shades with both being the same shade. This is in Shell and this is in Shell. That's the shade name. Basically, don't believe everything you hear online, because I do believe a lot of people have been loving this foundation, but I'll be giving you my really honest review throughout this whole thing. And if you guys want to know how well this foundation has lasted on my skin, do check the description box, because today will only be very detailed shots of my skin upon application. So let's just get started. Okay, so the first item that I'll be applying is the Vanish stick, and I'm going to show you a close-up. Like I said, I'm in the shade Shell. So what is this foundation stick? It's a Vanish Seamless Finish foundation stick that combines the coverage of a concealer, the fluidity of a liquid, and the weightlessness of a powder for long-wearing, undetectable full coverage. Formulated with an unprecedented amount of pigment, this sleek stick delivers maximum coverage with minimum product, concealing discolorations and imperfections with a barely there finish. And as you guys can see on my skin as I'm applying it, I definitely went heavy-handed with the application because I wanted to show you guys how, full coverage it can be, but also I wanted to match it with the new launch just so that I can see in terms of maximum quantity how it will look like on the skin. And in experimenting with it in different ways, I've discovered that really less is more, and applying a lot really does look quite heavy on the skin. But it is truly a two-in-one. You don't need concealer when you use this, and it's so blendable and so fluid, like the name suggests, and also it's just really easy to blend. I've been using a dual fiber brush for both sides, so you'll see that this blends out in no time. You can see the finish on my skin, and because I did apply quite a heavy amount, I must say that it looks heavy on the skin, but it really is sort of each to its own if you like that finish. And I do believe a lot of people who really like full coverage foundations really like this kind of a finish. But moving on to the Vanish Liquid, it looks like this in a very sleek glass bottle, and this is a lot more quantity than obviously the stick. As you guys saw, I winded all the way up. I winded the stick all the way up to show you guys how much is in it, but like I mentioned, with the stick you don't need to use that much. For the liquid palm foundation, I must say that I've only experimented with it once or twice, but this application technique is typically what I would do for a formal occasion. So what are the claims for this foundation? It claims to create virtual skin perfection with Vanish Seamless Finish Liquid Foundation from Hourglass. Formulated for full coverage that feels weightless, this innovative foundation uses blurring, light-refracting microspheres to smooth imperfections for a flawless, soft-focus finish. Why is it special? Formulated to last all day, this waterproof, transfer-proof and sweat-proof formulation stays put for up to 24 hours. That's highly concentrated formula that delivers instant full coverage and applies evenly without streaking, caking or creasing. Innovative coated pigments allow for long wear without drying out the skin. Well, I must say that as I was applying it, and with the other occasion that I wore it for a really prolonged period, do remember to check the description box if you want to see the full length and whether or not this has truly lasted the 24 hours. But basically, as I was applying it, you can see that it really blends. The fluidity of this foundation is quite liquidy, so I really like that. And I appreciate that, the pump allows you to dispense as little or as much product as you want, which is really important, without overly squirting out. But that's besides the point. When I was blending it into the skin with the same kind of foundation brush, it was really easy. But I must say that something that caught my eye really quickly, especially when using foundation brush, is that it still leaves streak marks. Unfortunately, the brush strokes on the skin still kind of is there, and the only way I can sort of get rid of it is if I use my fingers to pat it in, or if I use a cushion puff or a sponge so that it blends into the skin really well. But overall, the consistency, the full coverage abilities really does not differ that much from the foundation stick. The only other noticeable difference is that I realized that it's actually quite tacky to the touch. It isn't super wet, but it definitely feels a lot more wet than the stick. And this is the side-by-side comparison of both sides, just so you can see how it looks like. To me, they kind of look really similar, but what's really noticeable is after I've given it enough time to set without powder, but given the foundations enough time to set, this isn't transfer proof on its own. Honestly, the claims of transfer proof is really not there. I just kind of pressed my fingers into both my face and I lifted up a whole bunch of products. I would say the cream is obviously not as much and not as liquidy, so it didn't pick up that much, but this doesn't really set down to anything. The finish it gives isn't a mattifying finish, but it's definitely something that looks kind of satin-like, but also it kind of looks matte-ish from afar, but it definitely doesn't feel like it. But yeah, I must say that you honestly will not be getting something that is transfer proof. And with my full day wear test that I did like 2 days ago, I must say that the stick definitely lasts way longer, especially if you apply just the right amount. For the liquid, I will say if you start off very little, blend where you need. This is truly a long day kind of foundation where it doesn't really shift around after you apply it. But with today's application method, this kind of amount that I've applied onto the skin, it's super slip and slidey. It kind of like falls into the creases on my nose, and once you start sweating, it actually does shift a little bit, especially if you rub your skin, and it's very kind of easy to get it off your skin, which is like, even when I just gently rub my skin, I already have some, you know, foundation on my finger, which is unfortunate. And today's makeup look, I didn't set it with powder, but I did use powder bronzer and powdered blush and that kind of thing. So overall, my skin, I would say, is still the kind of finish of the foundation, but I would say that if you are someone who notices if something sinks into your skin, this is something you will know that it's just kind of sitting on the top layer. But I would say really start off slow. Like if you're gonna pump out one full pump, use half the amount that you will ever use, because this is super full coverage. And today I did not apply concealer because, like I mentioned, and like the selling point, it is 100% full coverage, and it definitely will block out things like rosacea and, you know, if you have acne, scarring whatsoever. I have a huge air pimple right here and actually covered that really well. I think I'm just gonna keep this review really short, but if you guys want to see my prolonged thoughts about both sides and which I prefer, check out the description box. I will have a written up review there, and let me know if you guys are thinking of picking this up and what you like about the foundation, and also what other videos you guys would like me to shoot. So without further rambling, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!